The sun and moon are equally.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Free Game Fridays. Today, we have an amazing guest. We have Kylan.
Thank you for having me.
Sure
I
thing, man. Sure
I
thing.
appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So, just let's get right into it. Tell the people who you are, where you grew up, etc., and your connection to Amir Locke.
Okay, I'm Kylan Saffold. I grew up in St. Paul, Minnesota. I kind of moved around from St. Paul to Atlanta to Vegas. That's neither here nor there. Who Amir was to me was, I told myself I was going to get emotional about it. But he was a younger brother to me. He was even though he was younger than me, he was definitely, I looked up to him because, being the eldest everything for me, being the biggest out of all of us, I felt like it was kind of my responsibility to protect everybody. Like, whenever we got into it, around the neighborhood, whatever it was, I automatically did that.
Right.
But Amir had that as a young person. Like, he protected who was under him. He didn't speak much. He was very quiet to himself, but when it came to his loved ones, Amir took the initiative to initiate whatever it needs to be, whether it was verbal, physical, whatever it does.
He lied about it.
Exactly. And not even necessarily that. I think there's a lot of people who it takes a while till you're an adult to understand, when to withdraw from a situation. And Amir was one about respect. And so he would, if you're doing too much to him, he's like, okay, I'm going to withdraw myself. But if you keep picking at me, then it's going to get there.
Mm-hmm.
But when it was about his family, his loved ones, he didn't care. It was like, you're not going to handle them a certain way.
Right.
And again, and even when he took it there, he was still respectful with it.
Yeah. A gentle giant, a protector.
Very gentle giant. And now, he was, with just in his passing, now he's bigger than me.
Right.
So, yeah.
And that was your cousin, right?
Cousin. I'm not the oldest. So I'm oldest as far as my generation goes, but as far as our growing up goes, his older brother, Andre, was older than me. But, I didn't have a younger sibling, actually, till I was 7. And so I was at their house every weekend. I went to all the outings with them. And so they were my brothers before I had an actual brother.
Right, yeah.
So
family is just wherever, who will take you in,
Exactly. And, sometimes we have family that is, you have family that isn't blood, and you have blood that isn't family.
Right.
But I think that was an automatic just click for us. Like, it wasn't, if they went to a birthday that I didn't know, I came. If I was going to a birthday that they didn't know, they came. Like, we were always around. They have friends, Brendan and Peel, as we call them, that I grew up to know, and love through the connection with them. And so, they never really left me out of anything. Like, they were going to something, their mom would call my mom, like, hey, we're going, can Kylan come?
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Yeah.
Boom. So we're there.
That's beautiful. Yeah, do you have one childhood story or something that just sort of like puts into perspective who he is?
It's, again, very silent. Like, I actually talked to his brother the other day. We were, everybody too wakes up about 9 or 10, so I would call them at like noon.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Nothing. Like, bro, why are you still asleep? So I would call him, and I'm like, what's going on? And so I went to the house one time, and I'm playing the game, and I'm slowly turning it up to try to wake them up.
Yeah.
Amir's not budging. Andre kind of moves a little bit. His mom comes in like, hey, can you turn down this to sleep? I'm like, yes, ma'am. She leaves, goes to work. I turn it back up. Amir wakes up, and we look at Andre, and we're like, well, I don't know what. I think we watched a movie. It was a movie where they like put the baby powder in their hand and smacked them. So Amir just goes ahead and runs and gets the baby powder, and we go in the kitchen. I'm like, bro, what else can we get? We get hot sauce. I don't even remember. And so this is at the point, my fro's like this big. Andre's is about here. No. We're like, forget it. Took the baby powder, hot sauce, all on Andre. Again, they're both heavy sleepers. He did not nudge, so he's sleeping in baby powder for like 10 to 15 minutes. And I'm like, dude, there's nothing. So he just wakes up, and when he wakes up, like when you shake powder off, it goes everywhere. Yeah. It does it, but he still doesn't notice it. So it's from here down, and he just finally goes in the bathroom, and we're just sitting there like we don't know what happened. And that kind of just explains him. Like, he was. That's funny.
Y'all did him dirty.
Man, bro. And still hear about it to this day. But yeah, he was a loving, like you said, he was a gentle giant, man. He was about, again, himself in the sense of making sure that his mental, and that was, again, like a lot of people have to understand that once they get to a certain age. And Mir understood that at a young age, like making sure my mental is good so that I can reflect it onto the people that I love.
Mm-hmm.
And so he made sure his mental was good, but he also made sure everybody around him was good.
Yeah. And you really do have to love yourself before you can love other
Exactly.
people, before you can take care of other people.
Exactly.
That self-love is
Exactly.
it's a prerequisite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like a lot of people don't get to that point until they're, that becoming yourself. And Amir kind of already had that sense.
Yeah.
And would pick up and...
He knew himself at a very early age.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. And treat, again, everybody with respect. Like, he would treat the janitor with the same respect that he would treat the principal type person.
Mm-hmm.
And would be willing to listen to anybody that had something to say. You know what I mean? Not really closed-minded. Whether he agreed with you or not, he would be receiving what you were giving him. And, I think that's what made him such a wise individual, was that he was willing to take in anything that anybody was willing to say to him.
And those are very, very important characteristics for anybody to carry.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the world as a whole, we're lacking empathy. We're lacking the ability to hear the other side out, or really to sit down and eat with the people that you might not like.
Very
right?
true. Very true.
You know what I mean? In a metaphorical sense and in a real sense.
Mm-hmm.
At Thanksgiving and whatnot, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Man. So, tell me more about kind of like growing up. Like, what were the sort of aspirations and just like things that you guys, grew up thinking about, wanted to do together?
Right. Like I said before the show, whole family is musically inclined. So I think that we wanted to do and be in the music industry was major for both of them. Their dad was a very successful artist, coming up rap artist, their godfather. And so I think that was always a major thing for them. And we actually, growing up, we would dance.
Yeah.
And so we had a group called AKA, which was Andre, Kylan, Amir.
Hey,
and
that's
so
hard.
we would
AKA Andre, Kylan, Amir.
Exactly. So we would go in, maybe one song, 5 to 10 minutes, make a dance up, go. There was a school, I can't remember where it's at. I think it's the Hmong Academy now. It was MIT when we went.
Oh, okay. In St.
so,
Paul, yeah.
Yep. And so we had their older cousin, Alicia, who was over us. And we went to the final round, and I don't remember why we didn't even perform. I think it was had to go to a different state. But again, it was sports, music, and school. I guess everybody says the cliche, but that was really his main focus. And to do that and be the best him that he could be, and again, receiving the game from his dad, from his goddad, his brother, and just building that up. He did football, he did basketball. He pretty much excelled in whatever he did. Because, again, if he wasn't good at it, he was receptive of the people that were there to give him that extra input, so to speak.
Yeah. Every master started out tripping over themselves, right?
Exactly. So he got to that point to where he wasn't afraid to if he wanted to do it, Amir did it. And I think that's kind of because obviously, I'm going to miss him. His mom's going to miss him. His dad, his brother, my mom, everybody's going to miss him. But I think the hardest part for me recently has been thinking about how he's never going to be able to do what he wanted to do. So a lot of us can say, he was about to do music, and so we're sad that he didn't get to do that. But that was his life that he didn't get to complete. Right. Like, if anybody's affected more than anything, it's him.
It's him.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's kind of been the biggest thing for me. Like, if he wanted to do something, set his mind to it. He had a sense of urgency, but also a sense of patience.
Yeah.
Like, if it's going to get done, we're going to do it. But, there are certain steps that need to be made to do it. And come up with a strategic plan to do so.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. I'm just hearing so many things that we could all really take advice on. I feel like if anything that we can do as a community is to have him and his values survive through us. By taking part, listen to our fellow people, be urgent, but be patient, you know what I mean? Be receptive to learning these different qualities. Right. So tell me a little bit more about just like how he showed up and how he was loved in his community. Did y'all both grow up in St. Paul?
We did. Again, both of us moving around primarily in the suburbs region, but a lot of the things we did was in the inner city. Right. Again, so he was very, very quiet, very to himself, but as far as the people that he did come in contact with, again, treat the janitor with the same respect he treat the principal. He'll treat the kid that's sitting by themselves. He'll talk to him. He's not afraid to. I don't care what you're gonna say to me, or whatever it may be. Everybody needs love and respect. And so I think the people that he did come in contact with were touched to some extent. No matter what that extent may be, they were still touched to some extreme measure, honestly, is what I would say.
Yeah, most definitely. Beautiful, beautiful. So, yeah, just, I know it's hard, real quick, state what happened and how did this affect you and your family?
I think the hardest part was receiving the call from my mom. I'm a very big mama's boy. And so once I got the call, I could hear her crying, and I'm like, what happened? And she's like, Kylan Amir got shot. And mind you, I'm at work. So I just sat down, yelled, and got myself together. And I think the next step was then watching the video and coming to realization that what happened is real, that he didn't get a chance to react. And I think a lot of us are, so much more focused on the police officer, which is not to take away his actions at all. But I think for him to feel that it was okay to do, because it could have been any officer there, any officer that could have been approaching. But I think the systematic approach for him to feel it was okay to do that is the main thing. And I'm like I said before, I do security. I've been in the military, and so a lot of my thing went to a strategic mindset, and I think it was kind of planned out in the sense of like the movie Troy. Have you ever seen that?
No.
So the Achilles, you've heard of him?
Yeah, so like the mythology.
Yeah, exactly. And so the way that they got into Troy was a big wall. It was a big wall. They couldn't get into it, and kind of the same way. Troy had less people, but their walls had never been conquered. They came in with more people, and they're like, how do we get in? And then they had the idea to just build a big horse. So
it's the Trojan horse thing.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay.
And so they brought it in, and I think the major part that just kept clicking in my head is once they were in, everybody was asleep, like Amir was. No noise was made. Nothing was sounded alarm. They got out of the horse very slow, like no noise was made until the whole army was in.
Yeah.
And so I could just keep thinking about this systemic approach and the strategies that went into getting to your enemy, really, at that point, is how it felt when they're at their most vulnerable point. And I think that was kind of it. Again, I think the systematic approach is the biggest thing for us, and how everything was taken out and, everything was executed.
Yeah.
And so I think, again, just watching the video and just seeing him, the shots were hard, but then just watching him drop, that makes it official. You know what I mean? And that was kind of the biggest thing. I'm sorry.
No.
So that was the biggest thing. I'm really just at a loss of words right now. But I think as a family, being a very big but very close-knit family, kind of all being spread out. We all live on different coasts.
Yeah.
But if it's a moments that draw family together. And again, I'm choosing to celebrate his life rather than be in a more mournful and dreadful state. And realize that, again, Amir lived his life according to what he wanted. And he loved his life. He did what he wanted to do. Nobody's life is perfect, but I feel like true happiness comes from your inner self, like what brings you happiness. And Amir was doing what made him happy.
Absolutely, man. And yeah, I just think that, like you said, the systematic approach, even the fact that he's well within his right to carry a gun. And actually, I had a friend who was shot through the heart as a delivery driver, right? And in a carjacking, because he's delivering at like 2 in the morning. As a delivery driver, sadly, with this world, you should probably have a gun. And I just think, like you said, coming in while everybody's sleeping, not giving anybody a chance. I think the whole thing was disgusting, the way it was carried out, man. And yeah, we lost the boss.
Yeah, I think the sad thing is, I think because there is so much more social media, we're like, oh, this is just starting to be too much. But again, the systematic approach this has been happening. We're just now
exactly.
Now the officers are being required to wear a body cam. We have phones where we can record instances of this manner, and I don't mean to dilute the situation, but this is nothing new.
Right.
You know, this is a consistent thing that tends to be happening, and the same kind of approach is kind of being taken with us on some, you know, here's a little something to make you calm down. Here's a little something to make you stop talking about it.
Exactly. And I mean, you see what happened too. This is coming right after conviction of the officer that murdered George Floyd, right? And, you know, we've been warned from the beginning. This is going to be, it's going to look like progress, but we can't let up. We can't, you know, we can't just back down because we got
content.
you lose, you know, or you win a battle. There's still a whole war to go down.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. So, yeah, dude, just with that being said too, like the systematic approach to this, what do you want people to take out of this interview? Like any calls to action or?
My biggest thing, I feel like, and I feel like this is a, you know, any type of warfare, so to speak. I think everybody has their job. Like, again, with me being in the military, you have infantry, you have people who are, so in the front lines, you have people who even have a job to do laundry. Like, literally, that's a job. And so I think in this, I think we need to understand that everybody has their job. Some people may protest. Some people may be in politics. Like you all, you have a podcast to get word out. So everybody has their job, and I think not only to just have their job, but for us to do it as a collective whole, and understand that everybody's doing their job, and not to be so separated. Like, oh, you're not doing what I'm doing, but you're still doing your job to help. So I think that's the biggest thing for everybody to just, you know, realize your role, be comfortable in your role, and do it to your best of your abilities. Don't do it to where somebody else should take that same initiative, or somebody should think the way you're thinking.
We can't have that.
Exactly. We won't have any millionaires in this world if everybody thought the same. And so I think that kind of has to be an overall spectrum of things, and realize that everybody has their job to do their due diligence. You know what I mean? And I think that would be my main message is, you know, will this change? Sadly, no. Will Amir be the last young black man to be shot by the police? I pray not. But realistically speaking, on the systematic approach, it's more than likely going to happen again. But I think, again, everybody doing their job, and even if you don't have a job, that's totally fine. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody has to be involved, but I think the support, you know, even with giving words of affirmation, like, dude, your podcast is dope. Keep doing what you're doing. Right. That can spark anything in you to either just continue, or here's a new idea of how I can do it. Going. Exactly.
You know, that's the whole main thing.
Exactly. And so I think, again, just everybody being okay where they're at, and if you're not okay where you're at, take that initiative and do it to the best of your ability.
And I really love that, because it's like there's going to be frontliners protesting. There's going to be the people who are just at the protest with water, with you know, with food, with you know, people who can have a lawyer to be called or whatever. There's going to be people on social media. There's going to be the ones with the cameras out. Right. You know what I mean? There's going to be the people donating, you know, all that. And it really all comes together for a strategic approach. To how we can hold power more accountable. So this should, you know, curve this.
And I think I was listening to a podcast. Also, I'm a very big podcast head. So they were talking about voting. And I think it's kind of a cliche for our cultures. But I think understanding that you do have a voice. You know, you do have something to where you can make certain decisions. And this is what, you know, I was growing up taught this, and also something I tell my daughter. You know, if you don't like something, you either accept it or you change it. And so if you accept it, then that means you wholeheartedly are okay with what's about to go down. You're not going to have any regrets or anything. But I think at this particular time, if you're not, then you change it, or you help change it, and realize that that change isn't going to come right away. No. Yeah. You know, it may not happen in our generation, our children's generation, but to instill something in them to continue on what that is. And again, not telling them
exactly for that next generation to go.
Exactly. So. Every good home, any good structure needs a sturdy foundation to where all ends connect. And so again, you know, if you think of a house in a square, everybody has their job. That square makes that angle.
And you got the beam, holds things. Exactly. You got, everything.
And so everybody's going to have their job. And I think just to do like we said, not to be content. You know, understand that you have a job, keep doing it. You may get knocked down, and that's life.
You will get knocked down.
You will.
You will.
Exactly.
Get knocked down.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not about how many times you get knocked down, how many times you get back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was watching something else that was, I can't remember who was saying it, but it was talking about Michael Jordan and how he took, I think it was 400 and something game-winning shots, but he only made 100 and something.
Yeah.
But they only talk about the 100 and something shots that he made.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But if he would have quit, those would never been able to be talked about.
True.
And so just the continuance of what you're doing and putting your effort in, and again, your job, and if you may not be successful in that, but to help whoever else is doing it, what they're building on. Because I realize that's not just about you. It's not just about you and what you're doing. It's about the whole community of us. And I think, again, not to hate anybody, not to hate the police officer, not to hate the people that are in it, because it takes a lot to be angry. You know, when you're angry, you're narrow-minded. You're not thinking properly. You don't know the proper next move to make. Sure. And so I'm not saying you have to just outright love them to the fullest, but I think to have some sense of love, but also a sense of respect and empathy to a measure, not to justify what's being done, but to also have a sense of, community, you know, and just not just our community, like, okay, we're going against them. Like, no, it needs to be a collective community in order for us to kind of not even dilute, just fully take away that gray area between the two communities, so to speak. And so if we're going to get there, we have to move that out the way and include the other side.
There you go. And that's I think, the hardest thing to do. And it's actually the only way I feel like we can move forward in a lot of ways. I mean, the us versus them mindset, it's like classic, like divide and conquer, right?
Very true.
And so it's really difficult because obviously, I mean, there is no justification, you know what I mean, for what the police did to Amir and what they continue to do to young black people in this country. There is no justification. But for there to be fully hatred in our hearts without, I mean, it just clouds everything. We can't move properly that way. And what do? They capitalize on our hatred, right? And throw you in prison.
Exactly.
You feel? So that's you're dropping serious gems, serious wisdom.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's hard.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I think that's gonna be our biggest thing, man. Like you said, they capitalize on it, and I think it's not now. It should have been done, but now you can't go back on the past, and you can't say exactly what the future is going to be. You can plan for it, but I think as of right now, it's time for us to capitalize, and that doesn't mean capitalize on what they're capitalizing on, just to capitalize on anything that's able to capitalize, and it'll build progressively. And I think I'm a firm believer in that. One thing is connected to another thing, that's connected to another thing, that's connected to another thing. So if we capitalize on this one thing, and not just necessarily hone in on like we're only going to capitalize on that, but just be like, okay, let me take a little bit from there, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. Eventually, it'll get there. But I think, again, there's some
Takes
type
everybody
of...
doing their job,
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. And I think there's some type of focus on, again, we just have to do it right away. We need this right now. And that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's even for you know, let's say them, so to speak, to capitalize for us, it necessarily just didn't happen right away. Whether it was a month, a year, it took time. And I think that whatever our time is going to be, it's going to be that. And being okay with it, and not being okay with it, but accepting it, but also, you know, taking that initiative to do your part.
Yeah. Man, that's the big thing. I think there's a part for everybody in this, and if not a frontline part, just support.
Exactly.
And just speaking your mind of what you really truly believe in, and you know,
Exactly.
this is one of the, you know, this is a huge problem that we face as a community, as a generation today, to be able to build that foundation for the next generation. So I think to kind of summarize, like, what's how do you want people to remember Amir?
For the people that knew him, to remember him as you knew him. I think I mean, some people might say it's vague, but, you know, again, he touched you the way that he did, I believe. And the people that didn't know him, truly get to know him from like how you're doing. You're asking me questions from someone that knew him, rather than just taking it from word of mouth, from you know the media's platform. Like, oh, that's how he was, but you didn't know him. You know what I mean? And so I think I want him to be remembered exactly for who he was, not any bigger, not any smaller, but who he was. Because again, Amir was wholeheartedly himself. And so I think that's actually exactly how I want to be remembered. And I think, again, that's why I'm having this mindset of not necessarily dreading it, but again, celebrating his life. Because I loved him, I remembered him. And again, I'm a very spiritual person. I don't know what may be in that afterlife, but I know that if you're a spiritual person, the end goal is to get to that afterlife. And I know that was a part of Amir's belief as well. And so for me to want you to, as much as I would like for you to be here, but for me to want you to come back would be selfish. Because then it's like you come back to the pain of this world, come back to the everything that's going on. But I know that Amir lived his life wholeheartedly and is where we're going to ultimately be. And I'm going to live my life accordingly, continuing his legacy, and I'll see him again. Under way better circumstances. Way better circumstances.
There you go.
And so again, I think that's how I want him to be remembered, and I know that's how he would want to be remembered. It's just for who he was.
Beautiful. Well, Kylan, thank you. We appreciate you bringing the human aspect to this that the media misses, and for on top of that, spitting some serious wisdom about how we have to move as a community moving forward with this.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you having me, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, man. So let's all remember Amir as he was, a gentle giant, a go-getter, and stay smooth, everybody. That's a free game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even when I'm wrong, I claim to be right. That's why I hear down deep inside. Cause if I had to choose what I know and go with the flow, I'm uncomfortable. Might be a little weird, but you are too. So don't try to judge something you can't do. Cause this music is my soul and I won't let go. So fuck your notes. I've been going through my thoughts and my past afflictions. Got me reminiscing about my wrong decisions. No, I'm lost, but I am scared to fail. If I love myself, then that can make me heal. Been going back and forth with the same old people demeaning me. Cause I can't be their equal. Just know that this is not a fairy tale. If you've seen it, just believe it. The sun and moon are equally high. I'm watching you as you stared into my eyes. Our love will bloom if we both just take the time. Don't be afraid if you ain't seen the light. Just have hope and know it's down inside you. It's down inside you. It's down inside. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's down inside you. It's down inside. Oh yeah. I am super chill and unbothered, but your simple words definitely hurt. You would never see what I see, nor dream to be free, and that goes to show you lost your ways over jealousy. You're fake being nice, content with being mean. How could you let yourself go without grabbing a hold of your empathy? I've been going through my thoughts and my past afflictions, got me reminiscing about my wrong decisions. No, I'm lost, but I am scared to fail. If I love myself, then that can make me heal. Been going back and forth with the same old people demeaning me, cause I can't be their equal. Just know that this is not a fairy tale. If you've seen it, just believe it. Oh, the sun and moon are equally high. I'm watching you as you stared into my eyes. Our love will bloom if we both just take the time. Don't be scared if you ain't seen the light. Just have hope and know it's deep inside. The sun and moon are equally high. I'm watching you as you stared into my eyes. Our love will bloom if we both just take the time. Don't be scared if you ain't seen the light. Just have hope and know it's deep inside you.
Hello, guys. Thank you for tuning back into Free Game Friday. Thank you, Darius. That was an amazing performance that you just gave us. Those were some beautiful songs. You have such a gorgeous voice.
I appreciate it so much. Yeah, like it took me a while to write those songs. I'm not even gonna cap. Both of those took about the first one took a year. The second one took about 2-3 years. Had it in the back burner for a long time, and then life events happened, and just had to go back to my roots. And yeah, that's where that one came from.
So, where do you typically get music inspiration from then?
Honestly, most of my inspiration comes from life events. It depends on what's happening throughout the week. If I'm listening to a beat that sounds pretty good, girl, you already know I'm about to write something. Especially if, like, say we had an open mic. There's a lot of artists, a lot of creativity, a lot of inspiration in that one space. Yeah, I'm gonna go home and write something. Absolutely, no doubt about it. Other than that, I kind of just go by whatever I feel.
It's a real deep way to go, you know?
It's the only way to go, baby.
It makes a lot of room for growth, too.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even know how many times, like, even me and you, how many times we, like, would sit down and get absorbed by the music so much that we don't even finish the song.
Yes. Yes.
Like, come on now.
So, for those who don't know, who is Darius?
So Darius Stone, you don't get my middle name. That's a little too federal. But Darius Stone is an extrovert who has introverted qualities. Like, I really do enjoy my time alone. I kind of really need it. Despite me being around people 24/8 and being that person that just, like, starts every conversation, that breaks every ice, that just pretty much that leads everything. And I don't really see myself as a leader as much. I do see myself as, like, a motivator, if anything. But yeah, Darius is a mysterious figure. Honestly, still scratching away at what's hidden. Yeah.
And a good friend, too. Don't forget.
Yeah, you're right.
So, Darius, I've known you a long time, and I can just say how much I've seen your music change over the past couple years. So, how did you find your sound?
That is a very good question, Natasha. I'm not even gonna cap. How did I find my sound? I'll say it came from years and years of trying and failing. A lot of trying and failing. Mostly, I like to get most of my feedback from my sister. My sister Desiree, she definitely has a impact on my music and how I write it and how I make it. Just because, honestly, she's just been there. Like, she's been there from the jump since we was having singing competitions in my bedroom. Like, yeah, my sister has a voice, okay? My sister has a great voice. she was able to hit those riffs and runs at a young age, and I was always jealous of it. So I would try to like do the same thing, but obviously that didn't happen. Puberty hit, none of that happens. But I kept trying to like up her, try to be better, try to get into every choir that I could. Like it was a long journey. Honestly, I'm not even gonna cap. It was a very long journey, but I believe I got into a position where I am pretty confident about my voice. I'm pretty confident about my skills as a songwriter, as a singer, as an artist in general. Yeah, and I'm other than my sister, my friends also play a very big part. A very big part. If it wasn't for them, I would not have continued in that straight facts.
So, what has your experience been like here at Hip Hop for Life and with Urban Ventures?
It's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yes.
And I can thank you and Betty for that, for showing me this space that gave me the opportunity to grow even more than what I was. Because I was a choir kid, so I was just doing choir music, singing other people's music, how they want their notes to sound. And I never really thought about writing my own music until y'all said that y'all was coming here and that y'all was writing music and y'all was recording. And I'm just like, oh, that sounds fun. Let me join along. So I came, and the first thing Mike asked me was, what do you have to bring to the table? Like, what do you do artistically? And I told him I'm a singer, not much of a songwriter. I'm definitely a singer, 100%. And he told me, sing something right there, right then and there. Sing something, my favorite, one of my go-to songs, right from the jump. And I sang 5 Steps by Drew Hill.
Remember that?
That was a long time ago. And since then, all I can see is just growth. All I can see is just growth. Like, the way I sounded back then sounds nothing like I sound now.
And I can definitely attest to that. Like, the growth has been amazing. And, like, you are releasing music now. Tell us about that. Like, you've done a lot from that point.
I am releasing music. I have released 2 songs, one in 2020 and then another at the beginning of this year, 2022. You already know. And both of them are under 2 different aliases. Now, the first one is under D Stone, and the second one is under Darius Stone. I couldn't make a choice, so I just did both. The first account, honestly, I lost my first account, so I don't even know what happened to that, so I can't even get back to that. So I just, like, you know what, I'm just going to go by Darius Stone. And that's the birth of 2 different accounts that has one dude on it. Yeah. But my recent single, Survival of Life, SOL, it honestly is one of my focal points. Like, that was a point in time where I knew this is my sound. This is my voice. This is how I like to write my music. This is the way I want it to be. And since then, it's just been a journey of me trying to, pretty much trying to get myself out there. I definitely lack in that aspect of life right now, but I know it's a process, and we all can use a couple lessons here and there to grow. And other than that, yeah, definitely go check them out. They're on Apple Music and Spotify.
So, speaking of getting yourself out there, where can we see you perform next?
It will be here at Urban Ventures. This is my home. This is where I reside. You can come here at any point in time. There's an event, I would definitely be here. Simple as that.
And what event is that? And which event would that be? Oh,
that would be the open mics every first Friday of every month. That's one of the events. Other than that, there's events throughout the month that happens periodically. That's all based on Big Mike back there. And yeah, definitely come out to the open mics. It's an opportunity to get out there.
And what's your favorite part about being here at Urban Ventures?
My favorite part is definitely the community, the environment. It's just welcoming. It's loving. It's a place where you can come, listen to some good music, probably feel somebody else's music, and also cry about what's happening outside of here. Definitely one of those places. It's like a big open arm teddy bear. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to interview with us and perform for us today.
You're welcome.
Tell them again where they can get in touch with you.
So you can get in touch with me either on Instagram at Darius_729 or you can check out my music on Apple Music, Spotify, under either Darius Stone or D Stone. Yeah. Thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Free Game Fridays. Today, I am joined by the one and only, the man, the legend, Mike Brooks. We're here at Urban Venture Studios, man.
Welcome.
Yeah. So, as you can see, Mike really does this. You know what I mean? Mike really does this music stuff. He's a dope producer. I've seen him work a little bit. And so, yeah, let's just get right into it, man. Mike, who are you and kind of where are you from? What's your mission? Tell us more about Mike Brooks.
Mike Brooks. So Mike Brooks is from Chicago. I was born
Southside?
I was born on the South Side, but the years that make you who you are as a young man, I was on the North Side. So if people ask me where I'm from Chicago, but I'm a North Sider.
Right.
And then they usually ask, so does that mean you're a Cubs fan or a Sox fan? And I'm definitely a Cubs fan because, South and North. But I'm a Chicago kid at heart. Minnesota's my second home. My dad moved here when I was 6. And this has kind of been me off and on. I graduated from the Art Institute in 2016. And
The MIA, right?
yep. And after that, or in my senior year at AI, they made me take an internship. They make you do that. And I ended up here. And my first job was running live sound. We have a bus that's in the main space that we run our audio
the bus
from.
is crazy. We're going to have to get a shot at the bus, dude.
That was my first job. But I really just wanted to work with youth and music. Like, I already knew what I wanted, I knew that as a young artist coming up, I didn't have the resources that I have now in front of me. And when I did get a little taste of it, it was at a youth net. And there was a guy that taught me how to DJ, kind of put my hands on vinyl for the first time. And that kind of hooked me into the culture a little bit. But they tore that place down. So I vowed that when I got older, I'll try to pay it forward. So that's what this whole mission is about, like giving as many young people or people in general that have a passion to make music the chance to. Like, if I can equip you or help you in any way, that's what I want to do. Not for my own shine, but so that you can shine brighter. Like, if I happen to be in your shadow, I'm cool with that, But I'm not trying to take your shine. I just want you to know that you can shine. And no one told me. I figured it out myself.
That's what's up.
But after I figured it out, I was like, that wasn't really that hard.
But just by not knowing and having to figure it out yourself, you go through so many things that you can tell a young person and they can dodge that right from the jump.
That's why I feel like I went through what I went through, so that my story would be interesting enough to captivate the people that I work with now. Like, who are you to tell me what to do when you haven't done it?
There you go.
Or who are you to give me advice on something that you haven't been through, So I've been through enough at this point to be able to be like, nope, don't do that. That ain't going to work. Here's why that ain't going to work.
You need that why. That's a big point. At Bridgemakers, we always say, like, those who are closest to the problems are the ones who know how to make solutions to those problems.
Yep. So you kind of have to have had a test to be able to have a testimony. Is the kind of the whole thing.
That's hard. You got to have the test to have the testimony.
For
that's
sure.
hard.
Because you ain't been through nothing. You can't just tell me, So Mike is a father of 7, oldest of 11 siblings.
Woo.
So, like, I'm in this for real.
For real. Talk about youth mentoring. That's you on like several different levels.
And they're spread. Okay. They're pretty spread. My oldest bonus daughter is 23. My youngest daughter is 10 months.
Dang. That's amazing.
And in there's 3 boys in there, 4 girls in there. It's interesting.
That's amazing.
But they keep me sharp, though.
Yeah.
They keep me pretty sharp.
They keep you young, too, huh?
Yep. And they also remind you of the purpose. So, like, why do you even go to work?
Yeah.
Why do you get up? Why do you bother to go through any of the things you go through? Because you do it for your family.
Paying it forward.
Yeah, for sure. I want them to be able to look back when they get older and say, my dad did this for us. For sure. long after I'm gone, I want you to know I did this for you guys so that you would have generational wealth, whether it's money or relationship
Right,
or any connection,
social capital.
something, social capital. There it is, right
Yep.
there.
So, Mike, real quick, how old are you?
I am 39 years young.
Man, 39 years young, and you have done a lot, my friend.
What's
A
weird is
lot.
I every time I say that, it makes me smile. Like, bro, for real?
For real? Like, you did all of that,
I know.
and, bro, you probably ain't even at the halfway mark.
I don't even feel half of my age.
Oh, God.
Man,
Well,
what's
that's
crazy?
because you got 7 kids. They
Yeah, that's
keep
what I'm
you-
saying.
You know, and you work with young people, too.
And that's somebody asked me that yesterday. Like, they're like, "You're what?" I was like, "Yeah, but you know, it's fountain of youth. Work with young people,
God.
make hip hop, positive energy. I don't know.
Y'all heard that the fountain of youth is to work with the youth. That's,
sure.
You don't even know it yet, but that's a Bridgemakers plug.
I like it. I like it.
So, bro, what really got you into your artistry, into your music?
And this is crazy. I'm skinny. You see me, Slim Jim.
Yeah, bro,
Never
I was not
really
an
been
athlete
big,
either. I feel
right. But when I was younger, I realized that girls would like me if I could rap. I'm sorry, it is what it is. Like, it wasn't even about, like, I wasn't the best basketball player or whatever, so, like, I couldn't get their attention by, like, scoring a basket or, like, touchdowns or anything like that. But the talent shows come around,
Yeah.
and everyone's in the auditorium, and now you're watching me on stage. So if I can even do this even a little bit, they rocking with me. Like, even a little bit. So imagine when I realized, hey, you can actually rap. So then it was like, okay, now how serious can I make this? And then I think I seen, right around that time, I think I had seen LL Cool J I'm Bad video.
Yep.
He was skinny at that time, super skinny, red Kango, and he was just rapping. And then directly after that, they played I Need Love. So it was I'm Bad, I Need Love. I'm bad, but I need love. And that whole transition was like, yeah, we're going to just do this. We're going to do this rap thing. We're going to
That's
see
hard.
if we can tread both lines. And for sure,
Yup.
I was able to have super high energy, got a good response back from the female crowd, realized that they're the ones that really push the culture forward because they're not cheap. They're going to buy your music. They're not going to
That's for
download your
real.
stuff. They're not going to try to pirate your stuff. They're going to show up to shows. They're going to pay the cover to get in.
Ooh, that's
You know what I'm
for
saying?
real.
Like that, I learned that going forward, and it kind of helped me to just keep going. And I realized I was able to tell people, like, once you find a reason and like a thing that makes you tick in this culture, run with that, and you'll be able to get everything else added to you as you go. Like,
That's true. It really starts, it starts with you and your
does.
own sort of direction. You know what I mean? Everything else we call it purpose.
purpose.
You know?
Yep.
And the rest really kind of follows. Man, if that wasn't free game, I don't know what is. He just spat some
I mean,
crazy at
and
y'all.
there's young people, there's young guys and young ladies right now who I talk to, and I can see that they want to address certain topics, but either the confidence is not there or whatever. And I to be the person to be like, go ahead, write that, say that, do that, and then have them do it and look at me like, bro, did you
Just
see
did
that
that.
reaction?
Yo,
Like,
yep.
Okay, so now do it again.
That's dope too, because I think a lot of people have a lot on their mind that they want to say, but some people will be like, "Oh, that's not hot though. That's not gonna get clicks. That's not gonna get."
If you've been told to shut up a lot, be quiet,
Like in school.
you're not that good, this is not that good, blah, blah, blah. If you've been fed a bunch of negativity, it's hard. It's hard. I have kids in here now who I could tell were told to be quiet a lot because I'm trying to get you to speak up and you just won't do it because it's not in your nature. You've been told to be quiet. And now they sing, and then I praise them, and then they get nervous and they like shelter in, and I'm looking like, why can't you take this praise?
Seriously.
You haven't been praised, so you don't know how to take it. So if I have to be the one to constantly be that change that I'm wanting to see in the young people, then I'm gonna keep doing the same thing, praising them, motivating them, scolding them when it's not that good.
Right.
It is what
Just
it
keeping it real. Just being real with them. Like, yo, and to really love them, to be able to say that was not good. You can do better than that.
Yep.
That's what it is. So, dude, My next question is like, how did you find home here at Urban Ventures?
They allow me to be Mike. They allow me to be Mike and not like stifle my creativity. It took a CEO change because I don't know that the first CEO knew me too much. But this new guy that's been here for the last 3 or 4 years, Dave, has like gone out of his way to make sure I know this is my program. If it, whatever I want to do with the program, I can do. Whatever my vision is, they support me. It made me come up with a plan. You feel me? Like I didn't have a plan at first. I had a plan, but when someone tells you, okay, whatever you want to do now, you can do.
That means it's up to you
So
too.
write it down, make it plain, make a plan, and then receive your plan and give you positive feedback. Here's how you can fix it, but still be you.
Yup.
They allow me to kind of, the studio has its own hours. When the studio doesn't have regular working hours outside of working hour times, I can use the studio the way I want to. If I want to record people in here, they let me do my thing in here. They don't tell me. I don't hear no a lot.
Yep.
I
That's
hear. I get the idea of failing forward from here.
Ooh, that's a big one. We're into that idea. We're really into that
Yeah,
one.
because
Trust.
like you're gonna fail.
Yeah.
You're gonna for sure. It's the after. It's literally the after, and what
I-
you're
I
being
always
told about
say,
your failure.
if you can take a lesson, you will never take a loss.
Yeah,
You know what I
because
mean?
yep, you should be able to learn something from everything that you go through. And most situations are not going to be exactly the way you want them to, but you can still learn from them. And that's
Definitely.
what ended up happening here. I learned how to be a director. I was not a director. I was an employee at best.
Yeah.
I'm a coworker.
Right.
I'm an employee. Like, nah, bro, you're a director and you have employees that work for you now.
And man,
Weird.
and that's the thing too. I think this is almost a really huge leadership lesson, because when you are a leader, really your job, like you're talking about this new CEO, his job is just to be able to give you the resources you need to lead, right? So for you to, I mean, he probably doesn't even mess with the day-to-day operations in here. He's just like, Mike, I don't even know what you're doing, but you're doing it, so keep going.
Yep, that's where we are. But he can see that it's not even really me. I think it's more about the people that come through the program and the times that he's able to see it happen in real and like live in the living color. Like you're watching us have a class, or you came through and while we were having class, or you saw me work with the youth in front of you, or you invited them to perform at an event, and you see that they're really all good,
Like Young Bosses Ball.
on the real, and you see that like everybody's good,
Yeah.
and you're like, how did you guys get like this? And then they tell you it was Mike.
It's Mike. Yeah. Yeah.
And then
what's
you're
up.
like, oh, okay. Well, that's easy. You can quantify
So-
that. They just told you it was him.
So, man, this brings me into my next big question. What has been your biggest sort of takeaways from the mentoring of young people that you've been doing?
I always tell people, you can never pay me what I feel like I'm worth the way that I get it from the young people. Because, and this has grown me every time over and over again, almost to the point where it's like exponentially, like I'm like Mike to the whatever 30th power or something like that. Because every time I help a young person realize that they're great and then they start shining, that's it.
You cannot put a dollar value on that.
That's
those
it.
are lives being changed, right?
That's
there.
it. You can't. And then they look at you different than they did when they came in the door. They come in the door, they look at you, and then you help them, and then they really look at you. And you'd be like, what? And then you know they want to say thank you, but maybe they don't even have that in them to say thank you.
Man.
But
And
so-
they've never received that type of mentorship or love before.
That's the
Oftentimes,
feeling.
you know what I mean?
that's the feeling. That's the whole thing. That's the secret sauce. That's the reason why we do the job. And it happens so often to the point where if I'm around other mentors, when it happens and we look at each other,
Yeah.
and it's like,
yeah.
that's why we do the
That's
job.
the look. Yeah.
That's
yeah,
it.
Yeah. That's dope.
That's it. So
That's dope.
I get paid by the young people's gratitude,
That's
or by
beautiful.
anyone that comes through here that shows gratitude.
That's beautiful. And in so many organizations, I think they try to quantify everything with numbers. They're like, we reached out to 5,000 youth, or we did this, and it's like, okay, but where, like, tell me about how you changed Daryl's life.
Yep.
Tell me about how you changed Billy's life,
Yep.
whatever.
And I have those numbers, but they want them, and they're impressed by them because we actually have the numbers.
Mhm.
But what you said, it's the stories
That's what's
that
up.
kind of make the numbers even make sense. The
That's
numbers
what's
are
up.
literally
the numbers are just
numbers.
supplemental, right? Those just come with the
Yeah,
actual.
like you
real-
kind of have to have proof. Like they made me do
It's
a,
in the music, huh?
they made me do a presentation a while ago. That's like, and the question was like, how do you know your program works, or how do you know your program is impactful? And then I had to remind them, like, there's a revolving door, but a good one, because most people think about the term revolving door as like either things are coming and going, nothing's staying put, or I'm coming in good and leaving out bad. But my revolving door theory is like my door remains open, so come back.
Yep.
Come back. And then when they do come back, they come back better. And then they stay for as long as they need me, and then I let them go. But at
And-
the same time, I let you know you can always come back.
And the reason that's big too is because when you learn so much, you need to go out there and apply it.
Yep.
So my last question here, man, what is just some advice you have for young people today, you know, who either music related or just life related?
Take advantage of the moments that you get. Time is unforgiving. Time is undefeated. I tell this to people when they find themselves in the studio, if it's for a class or a seminar or something, like, you don't know when you'll be here again. So take advantage of the moment. I would tell them that. I would tell them to live in the moment, take advantage of every moment that you get, but prepare for the moments that you know you want. So proper preparation prevents poor performance. Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
The
It's been
quintuple
there.
P's.
It's been there.
If that's
in
not
my,
pushing P, I don't know what is.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
It's been there. It's like embedded in me, because I realize all the best moments of my life that I've experienced, either on stage or anywhere else, I prepared for them. Like, I sat down, I got ready mentally, I was focused, and by the time the moment came, I felt before it happened like I was ready for it. You know? And then it just feels different on the other side of it when you look back and you can smile knowing that was your moment to shine, and you did.
That's what's up.
So now wait for the next one.
That's what's up.
Wait for
That's
the
what's
next
up.
one.
You can make back the money,
Yep.
but you can't make back time.
You don't get more time.
Yep.
You just don't get more time. Cherish the people that cherish you, and do that with time as well.
That's
Don't
what's up.
text when you can call.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't text when you can call. Happy birthday. Nope. You got that number? Call.
I like that.
Why? Because that person hearing your voice is not nowhere near the same as them reading it. I read 1,000 of these a day,
Right.
but I haven't heard from you. And your voice in my ear, or your face in mine, is like, I actually care about you enough to be able to call you, talk to you, let you know happy birthday. I love you. Powerful words, bro.
Powerful words.
For real.
That's
But all
what's
those
up.
come back to time.
That's beautiful. Man, Mike, thank you so much. Amazing interview. Thank you for the work you do, bro. And Urban Ventures, come check out your boy Mike Brooks at Urban Ventures. Make
Ooh.
some music.
Ooh.
Tell him what's up.
Okay, so, all right, so in addition to me working at UV, I just got blessed to be able to have my own radio show.
Oh, let's
And
go.
that happens, wow. And I have not really said this out loud to anybody else, but I feel
You heard
like
it here first,
this is
folks.
the moment to just kind of like, just go ahead and say it.
Exclusive.
Every Wednesday from 3 to 4, starting now 3 to 4, probably be 3 to 5 pretty soon, on KRSM 98.9 FM. My show is called For the Culture.
Let's go.
Complete urban vibe. Hip hop starting it, but I won't let y'all down.
Some local
98.9 local stuff.
Let's go.
This actually is a sneaky way for me to get all of my young people's music that I have in my
I had a feeling.
phone. I'm sliding you right on the radio.
Let's go.
You'll be ready. It's kind of one of those things. But yeah,
I
3 to
bet.
4 for the culture every Wednesday. 98.9 FM KRSM.
KRSM. You'll find your boy there.
Wow.
Free Game Fridays. Thank you all.
Stared into my eyes, our love will bloom if we both just take the time.